What's the point of watching football all weekend if you can't overanalyze it?
Reaction Monday is sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, welcome back. Huge week. Rothman and Ice. Anthony Rothman here. The Iceman is back. CB behind the glass. How we feeling, brother?
Oh, I'm feeling good, baby. I'm feeling good. It's good to be home. I'm back. Thanks to everybody that filled in for me last week. I'm fired up. It's good to see you again. We'll do one show here, and then we're hopping on a bird to go to Nolans, baby.
Oh, you didn't hear? We're driving.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. We're driving.
We leave after the show.
Well, I got a plane ticket, so I'm going to be on the plane.
Winnebago style.
I'm going to be on the plane down to Nolans, the home of Lil Wayne and Juvenile.
Wait, Lil Wayne?
Yeah, Lil Wayne's from New Orleans. We're going to Lil Wayne's territory.
Not Flavor Flav?
Not Flavor Flav. Look, I know there was a little bit of beef out there from the folks in New Orleans, AR, that Lil Wayne is not doing the halftime show. This is Kendrick Lamar, so you got a guy from Cali doing the halftime show. Look,
odd.
Kendrick's He's nice on the mic. I'll give him that. But this is Lil Wayne's Super Bowl, and I don't understand how we got there. But Rothman and Ice will be there,
okay,
and it's going to be a heck of a week. Good to be back.
Thought we'd have the R&I Cruiser going down there. They built those things here in C-Bus.
How long is that drive? How long would that drive be from here to New Orleans?
It'd be a couple days. I don't think we do it in one day. I have no idea.
You know my rule.
What is your rule again?
Anything over 3.5 hours in the car, I'm on a bird.
That's ridiculous.
I'm on a bird, baby.
Oh, actually, we could do it. 13 and a half.
Oh, yeah. No.
And if we had a lavatory in there, we'd be good, too. We wouldn't have to stop. Just knife down through Kentucky and Tennessee into Alabama.
See, I'm not the best person to do that with because you know how much water I drink throughout the day and you know how many times I run to the bathroom during breaks. You imagine you driving and saying, AR, I need you to stop again. Pull over.
Open a window.
Gotta go.
We're not stopping. That's why you have the lavatory built in.
Rothman and Ice in jail because of me.
I would have done it if they wanted to do that.
There's no way I would do that. CB's out too. Because first of all, you would make CB and I do the bulk of the driving. Probably.
No, not at all.
You would enjoy driving that?
I don't know if I would enjoy driving something like that, but I would do it.
I think we could split it in 4-hour shifts.
Yeah.
4-hour shifts. That's
right.
All right.
Hopefully somebody doesn't take a nap at the wheel and we'll be in good shape. But you're right. We are going down to Radio Row. This is one of those, and we'll explain it again, everybody. I have always called this like it's a sports dating game. It's like what did they do with the you go to a different table?
Speed dating.
Speed dating. Yeah. Yes, it's speed dating for sports. And that's it. And sometimes you know who's going to sit down next to you. Sometimes you don't. Yeah. And you try to wrangle them in. Mm-hmm. It'll be fun because it's in New Orleans. And so we can get into some trouble there. And it'll be awesome. So we'll look forward to doing our broadcast starting Wednesday through Friday from Radio Row. Eagles Chiefs spread hasn't changed. We're at -1.5 still with the Chiefs. So it's not like Vegas is buying into nobody wants to bet against Mahomes. They're not begging anybody to take the Eagles.
No, they're not. The Eagles are for real. We've been talking about them just all year long, with the addition of Saquon. And even outside of Saquon, they crushed it in the draft with some of the guys that they have on, the defensive side of the ball. And so it's just a well-rounded roster. And there's guys on this team, mainly at the most important position in Jalen Hurts, that isn't going to be scared of this moment because we saw from him already in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago that he's built for it. And so I'm expecting him to have a good showing, and he's got some really good weaponry around him on offense. So should be a really good game. I'd be surprised if this gets got a hand going either way.
All right, so let's get to it. If you guys just joined us, this has gone from this weekend to the stuff that happened in the NBA to now thinking that the big news would be over. And Myles Garrett, let's just get right to it. He's requested a trade. I mean, what an absolute gut punch. Now, I know they all can't be Joe Thomas and say, you know what? I grew up old school.
Yeah.
I want to be in the city and never leave and all that. But he has requested a trade. This comes not that long after Myles Garrett had met with management and said, we're closer than you think to turning it around. So what did he mean? That they're closer than people think because of what they're going to get from me when I request a trade? Like, what was he doing? What did they say to him a month ago that made him want to say that publicly, unless he was just doing it to try to, I don't know what he was doing it for. He publicly said, the Browns are closer than people think to turning around. I remember doing the show with you when that came out. I'm like, okay, well, I guess he's staying. And now today, out of nowhere, he drops this statement, and I've got a little bit of a problem with the statement. You can have all the problems with Andrew Berry you want, and I'm here for those conversations. Mm-hmm. But when Andrew Berry said, we want Myles Garrett to go from Cleveland to Canton, what he meant was that we want him to be a lifelong Brown. He's too talented. It was a compliment, the ultimate compliment, that we don't want him going on some hopscotch around the country and then circle back to Canton. We want him going in as a Brown. So why, when Myles Garrett put out his statement of requesting a trade today, and people are saying that this was the personal side of it, when he said, while I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. Why are we zooming in on that and saying that since Barry said we want him to go from Cleveland to Canton, why does he feel like that was some sort of diss from the organization?
That's definitely shots fired at his GM. To me, there's no other way to look at that. I maybe there was a conversation or conversations had after the quote that you mentioned from Myles, where he did say, you know what, I see the vision, and we are closer to getting in the mix, whatever that may be in Myles' mind. And maybe there was another meeting had with management, and he walked out of that and said, this ain't it. This ain't it. Whatever they have planned for this offseason, I'm out. Get me out of here. And I do think when you're a player the caliber of Myles Garrett, and you've just been racking up so many different individual accolades, and the sack numbers are crazy, and you've won Defensive Player of the Year, and you've got the second most sacks in the league since 17 behind TJ Watt. I think you get to a point in time where it is about, hey, I've done my thing individually. I'm on the Hall of Fame highway, which I think Myles is. I do want to get a part of a team that can win it all. And so I don't think that anybody believes the Cleveland Browns are close to winning a Super Bowl. And so when you're Myles Garrett and you're 7-8 years into this thing, and you've only been to the postseason twice, and you've seen management go about certain situations year in and year out that don't look great, and one of them is the elephant in the room with Deshaun Watson, I can understand his frustration. I really do. And I think that they should trade him. I do. This is all going to come down to what it always comes down to. It'll be a staring contest between two parties. Andrew Berry and management, they sound like they're not budging, and we shall see what Myles does when we get into the summer, and then obviously training camp when stuff starts to get real. But I do think, based off of where the franchise is and where they have, their own draft pick right now, what I think they could get from Myles Garrett, I would trade him. Yeah. I would.
No, I'm only zeroing in on that part is because a month ago he said we're closer than you think. And it was a big tease for Browns fans. So you're right. Something between the January presser that Barry had saying that, hey, we look forward to this guy going from Cleveland to Canton. It was an ultimate compliment. We want him to be a lifelong Brown. And we also know he's a Hall of Famer, so why would we trade him? Yeah. And that other thing that said, like, somebody asked him, hey, would you take, if somebody offered you 2 first-rounders for Myles Garrett, what would you say? He'd be like, absolutely not. Put that on the record. Like, he was not interested. And when I asked Schefter about, remember when we went through this with Schefter, would they trade Myles Garrett? You could pull the tape. He's like, that's not happening.
Well, that's the information he's getting back from Andrew Berry and company,
that was from
right?
Them, correct. He's not getting traded unless he wants to be. And now they have to decide from a business standpoint whether they want to lop all that dead money from whether the give and take is that you in a full rebuild mode, as you just said. You consider adding all that money, dead cap money, to a big pile of it already, and then you try to recoup it with the picks, and then hope to God that those picks hit, because you can't just attach picks to saying that's an automatic.
And also, if you're Andrew Berry, from his side of things right now, and even Kevin Stefanski, I think they're coming into a year to where there is a nice amount of pressure on them to save their jobs post-25. And so taking Myles Garrett out of the equation, if you're Andrew Berry, you're probably saying, well, this is it for me, right? Because if we lose this guy, we're probably not going to be a very good team. We may roll into this thing with a rookie quarterback or some veteran free agent, maybe a Sam Darnold type or Kirk Cousins type. You don't have a guy that you feel like is going to deliver a home run for you at the most important position. So I can understand the hesitation from the decision makers to not want to trade Myles Garrett, because they don't have a bunch of runway up there in Cleveland, in my opinion, anyway, based off of what they've done. And this is all rooted in not only the Deshaun Watson contract. We know that's massive, but you look along the way, and yes, there are some hits, right? The JOKs of the world, the Denzel Wards of the world. They do have talented players, but what takes a team that has talented players like they have to a higher level is the in-between picks, right? And some smart free agent moves. And I think that's where the questions come into play for Andrew Berry, as you look at some of the misses. And that's why this team hasn't been able to go out there and be consistently in the mix, even though you look at the roster on paper, for the last few years and saying they got dudes, they got star power.
Listen, I'm not mad at him for wanting to go win. That makes sense, and wanting to be a part of something. And most Browns fans would even admit that they are wasting his career. But I'm just going to, hey, he signed for 2 more years. He just said we're closer than you think, and then something changed. Yeah. And maybe he'll go on the record about that what changed since you made that statement.
Maybe.
Because it was like a big tease to Browns fans. They did not think they were going to lose him. But you're right. How close are they in the next 2 years with him anyway?
Yeah.
Unless they get a Jaden Daniels hit, and that's pretty rare, to get back into a playoff mix and have a Washington-type run with a rookie quarterback, which they did with a trash defense, then I think Browns fans feel like, you know what? That'd be a fun little ride, because I think they feel like their defense, they'd put them up against Washington's any day. So if you get a competent quarterback, but here we are with Cleveland on the verge of perhaps losing one of their biggest superstars. We'll come back. By the way, we'll have Jeff Lloyd on bottom of the hour. We'll get his take on. He's Orange and Brown report, so I'll have some good insight for you. And then when we come back, the price you pay for success. Ohio State in the coaching portal once again. That's next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The New Year's celebration is come and gone, but my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin are still offering those great deals. Rich is sticking with rates starting as low as 0% and leases starting from only $249 a month. Test drive the Prologue, the new all-electric SUV from Honda. And how about the very popular CR-V LX all-wheel drive? A 25 lease is only $349 a month for 36 months with $19.99 down. See the dealer for all these amazing details. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Here's a a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Black history is American history. In this Black History Month, the Ohio Education Association is celebrating the many Black Ohioans who have shaped our past and who are paving the way for a brighter future for all of us. I'm OEA President Scott Demaro, and as a high school social studies teacher, I've seen how important it is for our students to receive a full and honest education so they can become better critical thinkers. Join the Ohio Education Association in standing up for our students' freedom to learn.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Time now to get a look at that weather report. Today, mostly cloudy, very warm with a high of 61. Tonight, chilly, low 33. A bit more sunshine on your Tuesday, high of 41. And then tracking late day showers on Wednesday, high around 40. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, when we talked about Jim Knowles and you heard his little speech to Penn State and how he grew up and basically walked there.
This was last week and I was out?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gave a speech to the Penn State players.
Okay.
CB might even have it somewhere. And it was interesting because what he was trying to do, Maddie, was tell the Penn State guys how much emotion he put into wanting this job. One day being able to coach at Penn State, growing up in Philly and all that. And so I'll let you hear it because you haven't heard this yet. This was when he talked to the team for the first time.
We had like 3 channels on TV, and you got up Sunday morning and you watched the Penn State highlights, because I grew up in Philly. North Philly, the real Philly for you suburb guys. I mean, the one where you take the subway to school every day. Penn State was everything. It was everything. You know, that's what we aspired to be. And I couldn't get there as a player, but through a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of really good players, and that allowed me to reach that point in my career where I could really pick wherever I wanted to be. And growing up as a kid, Penn State was everything, and this is where I want to be.
All right, so personal to him.
Yeah, more power to him. And I get that when he, talked off the top about watching the highlights, about Penn State and all that. It reminded me of, I've talked to you and some other people about you grow up in a certain era. There were only a couple teams that came on TV, right? That's how you become a Vikings fan or a Cowboys fan. So, look, I get that, wish him well, whatever. And I know it's strange for a lot of Buckeye fans to see guys kind of stay within the conference and go to what can be perceived as some of your rivals outside of Michigan in the Big Ten. I do think Ohio State on that side of the ball will be fine. I do. It's eye-opening to see the amount of coaches that have left, especially when you look at now the Chip Kelly subtraction from the equation and him going back to the NFL. That could be a whole bunch of different things. We know Ryan and Chip have a great relationship and have had that for years. You look at the financial level up that's being reported for Chip Kelly. And
that's why I want to do the Knowles thing versus Kelly. To me, is completely different.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you on that. And it was reported that Chip Kelly's now getting, $6 million to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. Was making 2 and some change here, I believe, in Columbus. I understand that, especially you leave on the highest note, right? You just helped Ohio State win a national championship. And if you zoom out from the money part of it, you have to wonder where a lot of these coaches that have been around for a while at the college level look at where the game is now and maybe that's a turnoff for them. Maybe that grind is way too high for some of these guys because it is a lot. Like when you just look at what they have to deal with. So Ryan Day, he's got a lot of work to do. Yeah, he's been taking his laps around the track and celebrating, and rightfully so. But now you've lost your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, and your offensive line coach as well in a couple weeks. So it's time to get back to work and get in the lab.
And you'd sign up for it every day.
Yep.
Every day. You wouldn't care. Buckeye fans. Yeah. Would you like to keep them together? Of course. And when Jim Knowles first left, I thought, well, that's interesting. Why would you leave this program? They're invested in getting players. You're the favorite to win it all again, even if you can debate that whether they should be or not. But you're definitely in the, it's not like you're going from national champion to maybe not making the playoff. Yeah. It's not like that anymore. You're just basically continuing to tap into the money to buy the best players and maybe even, get the best coaches. So I was a little surprised with Knowles, but then after I heard that, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that an opportunity came, and this is one that he wanted to live for himself. I thought the same thing when Belichick went to North Carolina. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense until you find out his dad was there, and maybe there was some bookend to living out his dad's dream or whatever. And so here we are. The Chip Kelly thing, I think his true love is probably being in the NFL. I mean, we gave him a lot of – listen, when he left UCLA, it was – you could see that he wanted to coach. He talked about it. I want to coach. And now he wants to get back to the highest level. He checked the box. He got it. They got it done here. However they were going to get it done, they got it done. And so it's not Chip Kelly. It's different. They talk about the players coming back this year, Maddie, and what they wanted to accomplish, this, that, and that. The money had for some of these guys, was the big tiebreaker. But you're not going to get out of Chip Kelly, man, I really wanted to beat Michigan. I'm going to stay until I do. That's not for him.
No, it didn't hit the same for him.
He's an assistant, and he won the title. This isn't a head coach that is leaving on the heels of losing to Michigan.
Right. And baked into all that, what you said is he helped out a friend. Like that was, I'm sure, a big deal for him is to help out Ryan, because just going back to that time where we were, Bill O'Brien's the offensive coordinator, and that lasted for every bit of 2 to 3 weeks. And then he got an opportunity to be a head coach. I'm sure Coach Day was scrambling at the time, and lucky for him, he had this guy and Coach Kelly, who left UCLA, wasn't their head coach anymore, was moving on to some other things, and you can hit him up and slide him right in, and it's a seamless transition. I mean, the timing of that, you can't, I don't think we talked about that enough and what that's meant, that relationship and what it meant to this program and them going on to make some history. I think the good thing, though, when you look at it, losing Chip Kelly is not a good thing. He's a great offensive mind. We just saw that come into play this entire run, and especially throughout the playoff with what he and Coach Day were able to do, really ramping things up, is now Coach Day, he's an offensive guy at heart. And I don't know if he wants to go back to that. We'll wait and see. I know he kind of slid into that CEO-ish type of vibe this year, where he wanted to keep an eye on everything, defense, special teams, and then the offensive side of the ball there. But that's not the worst thing. And then there's some obviously guys that are in-house that I'm sure he has some confidence in, and guys that he's built relationships with around the sport of football, whether that be in the NFL or college, that I'm sure he's already hit up. So to me, I'm not overly concerned about it, because we've seen with or without Chip Kelly, this offense can play at a high level. They're still recruiting at a high level, doing a good job in the portals too. So it's tough when you look at it on paper, because of how good the team was last year. You lose both your guys there. That's not nothing, but I still believe Ohio State moving forward will be, amongst the elites around the sport.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. This was a perfect storm that actually worked out well for everybody involved. That Ohio State had a need there off the Bill O'Brien departure. There was a personal relationship. Let's not discount Chip Kelly's part in this, and that he maybe was looking to find another opportunity and not deal with the headache that was UCLA at the time, willing to take a little bit of a pay cut to do it. And then the other part is that they were all in. This team had a singular purpose that was nearly sidelined by the Michigan loss. And the fact that they were able to right that wrong, and they were part of a very, very good story. And it is one to go out on if you were going to go out. I don't think anybody believed that Chip Kelly was going to be here for long term. And so now he'd have to come back to a team with a brand new starting quarterback, a young kid without a lot of experience, and then try to live up to the expectations of Ohio State. I think the other thing is, and obviously this is the big reason. That's why I brought up the Jim Knowles thing, is the guy just doubled his salary and more.
Right.
Like, I don't know what they would have paid him here, what kind of bump he would have gotten to stay. But let's just say, even if they would have got him to 3, he's now making 6, and he's going back to the pros.
And you don't have to do the recruiting and the NIL stuff. And, like, to me, I'm sure that's weighing on these guys. It has to.
It's funny you say that, and that's a great conversation for the offseason on whether or not, yes, the recruiting is a big part of it, but the number is what sells it now. Like, how much do I have to invest in this particular recruit?
Yeah.
You can sell everything else. And I'm a big, you know how old school I am. I would sell the tradition, the platform, the games, the development, the training, all of it, the brotherhood, everything about it. I would sell. And then the guy's still going to look at me and say, how much?
Run it up, Coach Rothman. Where's my blank check? That's the game. You're absolutely right for identifying that, because that's real.
Yeah.
We had CB's got some sound for us. Coach Day joined Joel Klatt on his platform, and I believe they were reacting to the news of Chip Kelly going back to the league.
What did it mean for you, to have him with you to reach the mountaintop? Because you guys go way back, and everyone has talked about it. We talked about it for a long time. He was your coach. You guys have known each other all the way back, to when you were a youngster. What did it mean to you to do this with him?
That was great. It was great. And, we talked about it, the fact that, we had a really good group here, and the dream would be to win a national championship. And then, he decides whether he wants to stay or have an opportunity to go to the NFL. And it's exactly what happened. And, just to be able to, have a beer in a few years, and talk about the year that we had together is going to be special, because we all started together, and this is why I started with him. And we went and did that. And what a great story. And I know so many people back home in New Hampshire are just excited for him and for the story. It's pretty special.
Yes, and he can talk about it like that because he's not the Detroit Lions. They didn't lose both their coordinators and not win at all like they did.
They did it all.
And have to just say, well, we had a historic regular season. And it was big, and it was great for Detroit. But they're not going to have Dan Quinn and Ben and Aaron Glenn are not getting together for beers and talking about how great that 15-win season. No. They're not.
No, they're not.
And these guys will get to do it based on how it ended. If you are not feeling your best and you're not as fired up this week and you've noticed kind of a change in your drive, you've gained some weight, it could be signs of low testosterone. I've urged you not to wait and find out, and you can do that very easily at Low T Center. They're going to make it quick. You'll get your levels checked. They have a lab on site, so you'll take the simple blood test, and then you'll find out right there where you land on the scale. And it's very important for us guys as we age to find out, because there is help out there. Low T Center is not your typical doctor's office. Their doctors specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, for every patient. And the experts at Low T Center have so much experience, more than a decade helping people, and they will personalize a plan just for you, not a standard dosage. If you're a current patient, you know what I'm talking about. And if you refer anyone as a new patient to Low T, you will get a $150 referral credit. So find out now. Get back to feeling your best. It's at lowtcenter.com. Book that appointment today to get your numbers. lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care. When we come back, Jeff Lloyd, the Orange and Brown Report. What changed so quickly for Myles Garrett? We'll ask him next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, Hims can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay? Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
A perfect afternoon parlay. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, we may have a big standoff here up in Cleveland. We'll find out. Garrett's put him on public display now. He wants out. And maybe some people saw this coming and that he was not willing to spend his entire career there and not have a championship or something close to it to show for it. But it's an odd timing based on what he said not long ago. We bring in our friend Jeff Lloyd, who covers this team for the Orange and Brown Report. He's on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fangast Hotline. Jeff, good to have you back, my man.
Yeah, wish we, maybe it wasn't such a surprise or maybe under better terms. But, if we're talking about maybe a hand grenade, I'd say, maybe the clip is still held, but certainly the pin has been pulled.
It has. Great analogy. How about where were you on two things? One, what he said not long ago when he publicly said the Browns are closer than people think in turning it around. And now all of a sudden requesting a trade. Where was the shock value in that based on what he had just said?
Yeah, look, today's news, and make no mistake about it, and I don't think anybody's trying to say it. I don't think anybody saw this coming today. Certainly, this is something that could have been brought up, and Myles could have phrased things differently the last time he spoke about this. Or, maybe, discussions have been continuing. And, and the fact of the reality is look, there's no denying how desperate the Cleveland Browns are to find the quarterback of the future. But you cannot find anyone right now who covers the draft or anyone in the NFL who's offering you to even say that there is an answer to that. They have the number 2 overall pick. It is a dream scenario to be in if you were looking for a future signal caller, hopefully to change your franchise. Fact of the matter is it just isn't there. So maybe Myles and probably, these guys watch Senior Bowl practices. They're always keeping up on what the future, competition is in the league. And, they're not foolish. They know what they're looking at. And maybe he realized that, hey, even though that they think, they want to try to solidify that position this year, it's, pretty far-fetched to believe that the answer is there. And so, look, they're in a really, really tricky spot, certainly, with, Myles. And the thing is Myles Garrett, look, not one thing he has done is wrong. You can't blame the guy. And if he doesn't believe the path is here, granted, you don't necessarily know what the path is for other teams where he could possibly, have interest in him. But he looks pretty perturbed. He looks pretty aggravated. And, the Browns, when you're talking in relation to a guy who's going to turn 30 next December, it's kind of hard to tell him that maybe it's a 2-year plan and it's not something that can be rectified this offseason.
Jeff, I want to hit you with a two-parter here. Would you trade Myles Garrett if you were Andrew Berry and company? And if so, what would you want back or need back in return to go through with it?
Would I? I probably would not, because the problem is what you get back for Myles, it's just going to be, yes, it's going to be assets, but again, it's going to be all question marks. You know what I'm saying? It's all going to be guys that, you can't count on. This team has one concrete foundational superstar, and that is Myles Garrett. And you also have to understand that, there's other dominoes that would fall here. Is Joe Bitonio going to consider coming back for another season if Myles isn't here? And then looking at maybe what the state of the team would be next year, he's going to sacrifice his body one more time. Nick Chubb's a free agent. Nick Chubb have interest coming back? If one of the guys he's been going to work with all these years isn't here, and Myles, and maybe Joel wouldn't be here, this could certainly lead to other dominoes. What would you need back? I've been saying for weeks now, this is the oddest draft in kind of recent memory, in the fact that every single team still holds their first-round pick. When you're in a scenario like this, where maybe you're considering trading one of your best players, what do you say? Oh, well, he's maybe worth 2 firsts. What do? You look at the team in the first round who's got 2 firsts. There is no team this year. So that means the Browns necessarily couldn't even get the immediate full return on moving him. Plus, you look at teams, and obviously, everybody, you look towards the better teams, the Buffalo Bills. Well, I mean, do you want pick 30 and you think maybe Buffalo would even get better next season? So maybe you're still talking about pick 30, possibly 31, possibly 32. The teams that the Browns most likely would want to move Myles Garrett to are probably not the teams that Myles Garrett would want to go to. Hey, New England's got a slew of assets. They can afford him. What's the difference between Myles going from Cleveland necessarily to a team like New England? That's where it really kind of gets murky. Look, what are you looking for? My guess would be you're looking for 2 first-round picks, one here in 25, certainly one in 26. As far as other picks, I think the Browns certainly would be in a situation where I'm looking maybe for a player. Maybe the extra picks aren't something that I am so sold on. One scenario is there any path to a quarterback for me? Is there a path to a quarterback if I've got to trade Myles Garrett? I mean, we all joked around, week 18 when Joe Milton had a nice day for the Patriots. I mean, if there were any interest in the Patriots, please can I at least get Joe Milton out of the deal to try, maybe I have something. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy, but it gets you another quarterback. Do you work out some sort of strange deal with the Minnesota Vikings? Maybe they could franchise Sam Darnold and you can work out a deal, where Myles and, there could be a deal done there where maybe the Browns could get their quarterback. Look, the Browns were not ready for this news. And I think the thing that really needed to be taken away from this is, A, that Myles basically just released it. It wasn't like his agent called Andrew Berry and said, look, we think it's, maybe time to start moving on. You put out the release and you basically took a quote that Andrew Berry put out there and basically used it against him and said, look, the plan has never been for, to go from Cleveland to Canton. The plan has been to go to the Super Bowl. And, that's a damning way that was written today in regards to the Cleveland Browns.
All right, Jeff, give me your best take, because I asked you originally about what you think might have changed. Do you think that Myles Garrett is more upset that they might be trading out of number 2 or actually using the pick? What would make him think that they're in full rebuild mode, trading out of 2 or actually making the choice?
I think it would be the possibility of trading out of it. And, look, if Myles believes that, if they're either one of these quarterbacks, obviously you would have the opportunity to get one of them at 2, maybe he feels that's the path. And look, everybody's going to view things differently. Everybody's going to think things differently. Cam Ward certainly has some talent. I think Shedeur Sanders has some talent. My only thing is you just think of Cleveland Browns and anything affiliated with the Sanders family would just find a way to combust. It just feels like that with the way this franchise works. Deion has done a fantastic job with Shedeur Sanders. I think the young man is extremely grounded for the position that he is in, also for the position that he is Deion Sanders' son. I think that is probably what concerns him the most, is that maybe they would trade out of that pick, which means, those 2 quarterbacks wouldn't be in play. Look, Myles isn't, certainly a judge of quarterback talent. Not necessarily everybody is a true correct judge of quarterback talent. But I think for Myles, I think that what is probably the changing point is the Browns either told him they don't believe there are any answers here in 2025 to that quarterback position. And, I think that's maybe where Myles, kind of soured. And look, these guys were already soured to begin with. This other quarterback move held back this team for 3 years. It took away a lot of prime talent on this roster's primes. And, they're just in a really, really rough situation right now. And, that's before we even get into, how it's going to affect the cap. As far as moving on from Myles Garrett, I believe the Browns had every intention to give Myles a brand new extension and make him the highest defensive player in the league, because that is something that would have to certainly most likely go into this deal, because when Myles is on the verge of getting traded, I am sure he would want to work on that contract extension with his future team. There are a lot of dominoes right here. And, look, the Browns can't help it. The decision was what it was, but I have to believe that most everybody in the buildings in Berea were blindsided by this news today.
No doubt. After what I heard on Hard Knocks in January, I thought that he was certainly in it to win it at some point in Cleveland, but not anymore. But maybe he will. Maybe he'll be forced to stay. We don't know. All right, my man. Great job. Good insight as always. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely, gentlemen. You guys have a great day.
Thanks. That's our friend Jeff Lloyd, the Orange and Brown Report on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. He said it right. Any team trading a major package for Myles Garrett is going to have to sign him to an extension, which is going to be probably $40 million a year to ensure that he's around for more than 2 seasons.
No question. And, we saw a similar movie play out last year with a guy that plays the exact same position. It was Hassan Reddick, right, with the New York Jets. Now, they traded for Hassan, that being the Jets, but he was a guy that was serious about the holdout and held out for a very long time and racked up millions of dollars in fines. And maybe that's easier to do when you're a guy like Myles Garrett and a guy like Hassan Reddick, and you've racked up millions and millions of dollars already. So that's where I think this will get real, unless Andrew Berry and company change their mind in the coming weeks and months, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be their plan. And so we're really going to find out how serious Myles is about this months from now. But if we get into training camp and all that and he's not there, then we know how for real this is. But I'm buying that he's serious about wanting out of Cleveland. I don't think this is a bluff by any means.
I don't know how it could be, because what would he be doing it for if it wasn't to get out?
Right, because it's not money, because it sounds like they're willing to come to the table with an extension, and he's not signing right now because he doesn't trust the vision. And the
only thing he could have done, Matty, is he could have taken this exact approach, but with them, not public. And maybe he already did that, and they said, no, you're under contract for 2 years, and we have no interest in trading you. You're too good. You're too important.
Yeah.
And now he's putting the public pressure. Now, his agents could have done that behind the scene, they could have gotten word to all these teams. Because everyone's going to call, regardless of whether the Browns want to trade him or not. They're going to get calls. They have to. Those teams wouldn't be doing their job. All right, we come back with a Buckeye Bulletin for you. Good teaching moment for a certain Buckeye, says Coach Diebler. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Get it right with help from Right Rug Flooring. Thousands of styles are in stock and ready for next day expert installation. Like carpet starting at $219 a square foot installed with pad. And luxury vinyl starts at only $399 a square foot installed. Unmatched value with 24-month financing available. Visit a showroom or schedule a free in-home estimate today. Get it right with Right Rug Flooring. Your beautiful new floor is right here, right now.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more of the good life to your life so you can bring home more Perfectly plump and flavorful produce, picked for precise freshness. Beautifully marbled, beyond brag-worthy certified Angus beef. And more must-have money-saving M-Perks rewards. Because saving more on local favorites is good. But bringing home more of what you love in every trip, that's the good life. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Bishop and Friends.
My wife jumped onto the couch and was bouncing. Bootsy and Beamsy and NBC sprinting around like maniacs.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Seller.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
Something amazing is happening in networking. Organizations are scaling with less stress. That's because CDW is designing and implementing intelligent HPE Aruba networking solutions that simplify and secure operations. With automation at the center of your data center, growing pains can be a thing of the past. HPE Aruba Networking and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Aruba.
Progressive knows sports brings people together, but you gotta feel bad for people who don't even get it. Some people will never know what it's like to see their favorite team's hopes decided by a ping pong ball to draft the next superstar. Or not. I mean, sure, it's silly for your happiness to hinge on the success of a 20-year-old entry-level employee, but you just can't help yourself. The stress is exhilarating. Progressive can't bring people together like the draft, but we can bring your home and auto insurance together with a bundle. So switch and see if you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Feeling the chill? Call the experts at Logan Services now for hot deals on Train furnaces, including 0% APR for 60 months.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. This one was there for the taking. This one was there. And they had a chance to knock off Illinois on the road, and it looked like they were headed for it. Because anytime Illinois got over a hump, it felt like Thornton was hitting a three, and Royal was absolutely on fire early in this game. And so give Illinois some credit there for making sure he didn't kill him again in the second half. But you're up 5 with 8 to go on the road. And I'm watching this game, and I'm thinking, boy, they've got this one. They can hold them off. And a couple things happened, in my humble estimation. There was a kid named Morris Johnson Jr., who's a freshman, who just started bullying Aaron Bradshaw underneath. Bullying. Just, I want it more. And when that happens, you've got to counter. And I also noticed that defensively, the high screens were hurting them. They didn't know where to switch. They were giving guys kind of free runs to the rack a little bit. And Illinois started taking it to the rack and not settling. They just weren't getting great shots late, Maddie, for me. A lot of runners, a lot of Mobley off balance at 3. And I thought Micah was just getting high-picked. And then Boswell would get free runs, so no recovery, no switch. I thought they were hurt in transition a little bit. I'll give Illinois some credit. They turned it on, and they went on a run, and Ohio State went absolutely ice cold. But I think part of that was, to me, my eyes, they just seemed to stop sharing the basketball under 7 minutes in my mind. And then it turned into one-on-one drives that weren't converting.
It felt like, when you watched Illinois and how they were going about things on defense, that they were funneling, whether it was Mobley or Bruce, into that mid-range area, and they just weren't able to knock those shots down. Like, I thought Illinois actually did a good job on defense eliminating stuff on the perimeter where a guy like Mobley can hurt you a lot, and he was still, 4 of 8 from 3, but you look overall in the game, 6 of 21 from the field. So just not an efficient shooting night for Mobley, and, I was out watching the game, and there were some guys that were just, I think, get a little frustrated with his shot selection or the amount of shots he was taking. And I was just thinking at this point in time, the dude's got the green light because he's, he can go on a heater at any given moment. These are the sometimes the shooting percentages that you have to deal with guys like that, and especially a freshman on the road that has a lot on his plate when you got the rock in his hands a lot. So I thought Illinois, with the way that they set up their defense, put Ohio State in some tough spots, specifically Mobley, to maybe take some shots he wasn't very comfortable with. And I think that'll be a good learning experience from him. But outside of, what I just mentioned, what you mentioned is big time as well. Just the defense not being able to get consistent stops when they needed to, when Illinois was just going on that massive run late in the second half.
Yeah, here's Coach Jake Diebler on analyzing, I guess you'd say, Mobley in this one.
Yeah, it's a great teaching tool for all of us. I thought he got sped up offensively there. They forced him inside the three-point line, and, he struggled there. At times, and certainly there were some looks he's capable of making, but there were some looks that felt like he needed to pass on and look to get something better for either himself or someone else. And I thought we all kind of fell victim to that there for a stretch. We kept talking about it, but we didn't execute kind of those adjustments as well as we needed to.
Yeah, listen, you're on the road. It's a tough environment. The home team's coming back. They're pretty good. They go on a 13-0 run. They've stolen momentum now. Now it's your time to not set up Aaron Bradshaw for an elbow jumper. I just don't think that's the offense. Now, maybe Illinois had a lot to do with it, like you're saying. But I also noticed that the other thing I would ask Jake is, did your team kind of just stood around a little bit? When I think Thornton had a drive, Maddie, where 3 Illini converged on him. And I think I would like to see one Buckeye crash to either give him an option or maybe get an offensive rebound. Mm-hmm. They were late to the party. I think they just stood around kind of watching Mobley and Thornton. Please save us. And they didn't have it. They went 5 minutes without scoring. And you're down 8, and you got Bradshaw shooting 15-footers. They got out of their set a little bit, and that can happen when momentum goes the other way. And here's Jake's analysis of what happened late.
We had some defensive breakdowns, and listen, they have a lot of movement. Put you in multiple. You got to make multiple kind of execute communication multiple times in a lot of possession. I'm disappointed in some of the early in the possession breakdowns we had in that segment where they came back in the second half. Thought we had a great response early in the second half, but we didn't protect the rim well enough. And we guarded the three-point line well. That was a big key, but certainly not void of the rim. And, you let a team shoot, let may be the wrong word. I mean, it certainly earned some of those, but 64% from the field in the second half is not going to be good enough to win on the road.
And Will Riley was a big part of that. I mean, Will Riley was absolutely cooking in the second half of that game. He had 24 points. 20 of those came, when Ohio State and Illinois came out of the locker room. You mentioned Johnson Jr. for them, and credit to him for the effort that he brought out there. The dude had 15 rebounds in the game. 7 of them are offensive rebounds. And whenever you can create those extra possessions for your team, that's obviously what you want, and it puts the opposing team on the road in a tough spot, and that's where Ohio State was in the second half.
Yeah. Where the loss is here is that you had a team down double digits. And those are the ones you have to try to get to the finish line, and they couldn't do it. I didn't think they needed to win this game to make the tournament. They're still going to have to win a handful of games to get there against some bubble teams. But this one would have, in my mind, got them to we'd have a little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card if they lost a couple weird ones down the stretch. And so there you go. They'll rebound, hopefully, and get it going because they're still a very athletic team. They'll take on Maryland at home on Thursday night. That's today's Buckeye Bulletin.
The Columbus Men's Clinic, fellas, is the largest and most experienced men's health practice in Columbus. Did you know that their patients average 3 failures with other places before coming to the Columbus Men's Clinic? If you've been waiting, guys, to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had a bad experience with yet another clinic that opened quickly and closed, it's time to get in there and move forward with your sex life, your career, and gym goals. They specialize in seeing guys who think they're out of luck regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years has been number one in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400. Or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
All right, we come back top of the hour, and we will certainly talk Buckeyes in the third hour with our friend Dan Hope of 11 Warriors. But when we come back, a little party like a Roth Star from the weekend, and the Jackets took a fairly big hit last night. We'll give you the latest next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom.
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not.
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gertis?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gertis was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be me.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Andrews. Buckeye men's basketball lost at Illinois yesterday, 87-79. Jake Diebler disappointed after a really good first half.
You know, I thought our guys, we really played well for a majority of the game. Then there's the second half where, you know, they turned up their defensive pressure, forced us into some shots. We had to have more poise offensively. And then, you know, we talked about guarding the three-point line, but certainly not void of protecting the rim. And we didn't do a good enough job protecting the paint in the second half.
8th-ranked Ohio State women now 20-1 after a 10-point win over Washington. The Buckeyes' 4th straight year of 20 wins or more. OSU at number 1, UCLA Wednesday. Jackets lost to the Stars in Dallas last night 5-3. This one's sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Mark Levy a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or online sleepbettercolumbus.com.
It's Reaction Monday, where our highly trained experts talk football.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
Your home for reaction and overreaction, The Fan. Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program. Dan Hope of 11 Warriors, 2:30. We'll get his insight and analysis on who's going to replace Chip Kelly and who's going to call the plays for this squad for Ohio State with a brand new quarterback. And that will be interesting on whether they'll be going shopping outside and trying to put out all the feelers they can or try to promote from within. It's a very weird dynamic right now. The success has taken their coordinators, just like the Detroit Lions, both gone. And I said it earlier, at least you have the title to show for it. They don't. But we'll get with Dan Matty at 2:30 and pick his brain on seeing if
is it in-house? Is it some old faces? You've seen some Kevin Wilson takes out there. Maybe you bring him back. Maybe you roll with a guy in Brian Hartline, who I believe was tabbed as the co-offensive coordinator at a point in time outside of his duties with the wide receiver coach stuff there. I can't imagine that there's any shortage of people that would want that gig, right? When you can level up if you're at a certain program and come to Ohio State and showcase your talent as an offensive play caller, but more importantly, coach up the talent that's already here. And a guy in Jeremiah and Carnell Tate and some of these other guys that are ready to pop off again. And maybe for some of these guys that haven't popped off yet, some of the big time recruiting that they do, that there's guys waiting in the wing. So, yeah, I'm sure Coach Day has had people blowing up his email phone, however that works on his end. And like you said, maybe he'll talk to a few of those candidates. Maybe he won't, because he already has a guy that he truly believes in-house. And we were reacting to the championship parade. He was hyping up Guerreri. Am I saying that correct? Do I have that right? Guerreri, as a potential guy that could step up, in-house to fill the defensive coordinator position. So businesses, sports franchises have always for years liked to hire from within, and I won't be surprised if that's the case on both sides of the ball here for Ohio State coming up.
There's a big difference between being an offensive mind and being able to call plays.
That's real.
Right?
Yeah.
Designing an offense versus in-game decision-making is different. And that's why Ryan Day, being a former quarterback himself, could be a candidate himself to kind of get back into that. I doubt it. I assume he's going to get an offensive coordinator, call plays. It's just a matter of who he trusts, and he's got to do some real digging now on checking into these guys that will be applying. And then if it is Hartline, it's interesting because you'd be going back, you'd be circling back and saying, okay, he's ready now. Mm-hmm. And maybe this is, it feels like with a new quarterback, that would be a reach, but he may be ready to go. And maybe this is the year coming off a title that actually, I'm not lowering expectations for Ohio State. I won't do that. But I will say that if there was a little time to be a little more patient with a guy that we think so highly of, that may be on a trajectory of becoming an OC, maybe this would be the year to do it.
Yeah, and I think if it is Brian Hartline, the beautiful thing about it is his, ability to rely on Coach Day, right? To have that helping hand along the way as a guy that's done it before. And like you said, there's nothing more important than learning on the fly, because it's, when you're dealing with those games against the Oregons and the Michigans and the Penn States and things don't go according to plan outside, of the scripted plays right out of the gate, what do you do as a play caller to get your team in order and go up against some of these really good defensive coordinators that have been around the block for a long time? What do you have in your bag as a play caller to adjust on the fly is absolutely paramount thing, your coordinators on both sides of the ball need to have.
All right, good news and bad news. The good news is that the Columbus Blue Jackets have played 53 games this year, and if the season ended today, they'd be in the playoffs.
I like it.
Which is incredible at 59 points. The bad news is that Kirill Marchenko has a broken jaw from getting zinged with a puck on the bench. And now we're looking at, I'm not going to play doctor here, but when Connor Bedard had the broken jaw, he was out a month and a half. I have no idea how much goes into the wiring of a guy's jaw or setting a jaw to the point where you'd feel confident in putting him back out there. My guess would be on the best of the best end, you're probably looking at a month.
That's awful. AR, as you know, and as we all know, he's having such a good year. He was just so locked in with what he was doing and being just a consistent force night in and night out there on the ice. He and Z and what we're getting from those two guys on a nightly basis has been big time. And so this is just,
they took timing. Him for sure. Yeah. Fabro also, who's made a big impact on this team. Yeah. Now he's out.
He's got an upper body injury going on.
I believe that's what it is. And so my heart kind of went to my feet when I saw Zach looked very innocently tied up with a couple guys late in the second period. He was fighting off a couple of stars, and while he's trying to make a play, he stayed on the bench for a while with his head down, and then he got up and walked back down the tunnel. But I noticed something when he was on the bench that he was trying to scratch his under his right eye a little bit. And when I saw him move that left arm very slowly up underneath his shield, I was almost like, that has to be shoulder. Now, it could be wrist. It could be something. But he came back. That was the whole key to all of it. The fact that Z came back in the game, first of all, he's been incredible this year. Yeah. Nothing short of amazing. And I'm wondering, hopefully, if he is out for just a brief time, it would be very brief. But they're in a haul here at the end of the year to try to get there in the final. What do we got? What did I say?
So 53?
A little under 30 games. Yeah, 29 games. So they're going to need to continue to try to fight off whatever they can. They've been the best story of the year, and they'll be at Buffalo tomorrow, and then they're back home against Utah and the Rangers, the Blackhawks, and the Stars. They'll come home for a while, but it doesn't stop for them. It does stop for them. They will have their break between the 8th and the 22nd.
Okay.
So the key is that maybe that time will be used.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well,
just feel for the Browns Blue Jacket crew fan today. They're having a tough day.
Well, Garrett is still a Brown.
Just the news, though. If you're a Browns Jacket crew fan today,
Cucho,
it's been a rough Monday. I'm sorry. I'm pouring one out for you. It's not good. Not good.
CB told us they weren't letting Garrett leave anyway, so it won't matter. You play. We're paying you $25 million. You get out there. So we'll keep an eye on that with the Jackets. But Kirill Marchenko, broken jaw in the game last night, did have surgery today.
Okay, now he's going
Let's
on
get some sources on that.
That straw diet. We're doing soups and juices. That sucks. That's what I think about too. Broken jaw, like smoothies
Solid
and
food.
just tomato soup. Like, yeah, here we go again. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to jam a grilled cheese through that wiring. All right, let's give Kirill the thrill some hope and our thoughts on getting back out there. We were going to do a little party like a Roth star. I think we can do it next, though.
Could do whatever you want. Could do whatever you want. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think
I'm absolutely here for that.
Yeah, I think we
party
should.
like a Roth star. Going into, before we get out of here for NOLA and go down to Bourbon Street. You ready for Bourbon Street?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? I'm definitely in. I can't wait to see what it looks like in person.
Real quick, we can sneak in one of the Tell the Truth because I don't think we'll get to this one, but what are you most looking forward to down there?
Man, if I'm being honest, CB, what I really enjoyed was doing the show at Radio Roulette. Because we were talking about it earlier. Your head's just on a swivel at all times because it's a who's who party in there. It really is between current players, former players, and athletes and actors and just actors. It's pretty wild in there. So that's what I'm looking forward to is getting down to Radio Row Wednesday through Friday and cooking up some good stuff from down there in NOLA for our listeners. I can't wait to do it again.
That was your first one, right?
Yeah,
Radio Row. Yeah.
Vegas.
It was Vegas.
Incredible.
Yeah. I think that the French Quarter in itself is going to be on. I think you'll like seeing the jazz clubs. You'll like seeing a lot of that. Yeah. You've not been there either, have you?
No, I've never been in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Never been to Nolens.
It's unique, to say the least. Yeah.
Watch the show with Bryan Cranston. I can't remember where he's a judge in there. And it takes place in New Orleans. And the aesthetics of New Orleans is different. It's different. And I can't wait to get down there in person, man.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
A good vibe. We'll come back with Party Like a Roth Star next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall. This ain't the little itty bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is Super Bowl 59. So get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is key to hoisting that Lombardi trophy, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to go for 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TheFan971. That's code TheFan971 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Ohio only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Come cheer on the Ohio State Buckeyes men's basketball team as they take on the Maryland Terrapins at the Shot on February 6th. Don't miss out on themed games, unforgettable fan experiences, and the ultimate Buckeye traditions. Buy your tickets now at ohiostatebuckeyes.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
The New Year's celebration is come and gone, but my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin are still offering those great deals. Rich is sticking with rates starting as low as 0% and leases starting from only $249 a month. Test drive the Prologue, the new all-electric SUV from Honda. And how about the very popular CR-V LX all-wheel drive? A 25 lease is only $349 a month for 36 months with $19.99 down. See the dealer for all these amazing details. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
We plant trees because people need trees, and when planted in the right place, they have great impact. Trees help slow climate change, filter our air and water, foster biodiversity, and strengthen our communities. They create the kind of transformational change the world needs now. April is a month filled with opportunities to care for and plant trees. For planting resources, contact an Ohio ISA certified arborist who can help you learn how to take the best care of your trees. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Tracking a very warm day out there today. Mostly cloudy, high of 61. Chilly tonight with a low of 33. Partly cloudy on your Tuesday, high 41. I'm meteorologist Dylan Rebishad with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Ice, little Bet365 time.
You already know, brother, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 has launched a new sign-up offer where you bet $5, folks, and you get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. Come on, doesn't that sound great? Whether your bet wins or loses, customers will receive bonus bets after signing up. Go ahead. What do you got?
You know what's been very popular over the weekend as far as Super Bowl props coming up?
Yeah.
Is betting what the total yards of the shortest touchdown will be.
Total yards of the shortest touchdown. Okay.
Meaning, basically asking yourself the question, will there be a tush-push or not?
I think
the over-under on it, the over-under on that prop is 1.5 yards.
I think I would take the under on that.
Yes, you probably should.
Yeah, I'll take the under on that.
They get to the 1 yard line, it's happening. It's the Super Bowl. It's whether they get stopped at the one.
No doubt.
Or whether any team gets to the 1 yard line.
Right.
Then you're golden.
It seems though like there's just something in the atmosphere when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles offense and their running backs where somebody's falling at the one. It happened so many times last year. It happened again a decent amount this year. And they're just a team that knows how to execute that play at the highest level. I don't know how you stop it. You had the dude from Washington last week or the week before trying to jump over the pile and kept getting flags and all that stuff. It seems to be an unstoppable play when the Philadelphia Eagles do it. But I'll take the under on that.
We'll be going over all the props this week. We'll be loaded with them.
Yeah, man. Can't wait. I'm looking at this game tonight between the Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies. And I'm looking at Victor Wembanyama. Give me 4 3-pointers made for the alien at plus 135. You can't stop him, AR. There's nothing you can do. You just hope that he misses. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only. Must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, it's that time. We play a little weekend fun. It's called Party Like a Roth Star. Hit it, CB.
Let's all gather into the Kiki. It's time to party like a Roth Star.
All right, Ice. Fell asleep to a little golf yesterday. It was fun.
But
it was fun. I'm back.
Okay.
For certain venues, I'm back in. I'm glad you asked that question because I'm not one of those that's all in again. Yeah. Watch 10 minutes of the little simulator golf, the TGL and that. But I'm being as honest as I can. The Live Split ended all my love for what the traditional golf tour was. And I watched the majors. I'll love Muirfield and the Memorial. And then a couple sprinklers in there, and this was one of them.
Okay.
And, and Rory was in contention yesterday at Pebble. So Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, two guys that have won 4 majors by the age of 25. There was one more. There was only 3 of these guys, and one of them was Rory McIlroy. And now at age 35, he's still on 4, which is unbelievable. He's never won at Augusta. He's never won at Muirfield Village, although he did finish top 10 there when he was just 21 years old. But yesterday, he finally took down one of the cathedrals of golf, Pebble Beach Golf Links, win number 27 on tour. His first start of the year, he wins $3.6 million for that event, which means his buddy and caddy, Harry Diamond, should be getting about 10% of that win. And maybe this will be the breakthrough win that sends him into a major this year. Like I said, he has not won a major in more than 10 years. So give Rory a little bit of his flowers, as you say, and got back with his wife after the separation.
Got that old thing back,
He got interviewed by Amanda Balionis yesterday after the win, and the rumors that were flying that were never confirmed, that the two of them were dating. But I just want to give it to Rory. That's a big win for him at Pebble. It's not like there are a bunch of legends chasing him, but that's a nice win, at least on that track.
By the way, I was in on Amanda's fit yesterday. She had that burgundy, I think, suit on with the beige hoodie underneath.
Burgundy?
It's like, I see you, man. I see the vision there. You look good. Rory, let's just not pout, and run off if we don't win a major again this year. Can you pass that message? Wasn't a great look, Rory. I'm rooting for him, though. I am rooting for him.
Not going to deny it. It's a little rough, but I felt for him.
First candidate for me. I'm going with a man, AR, that was born on December 23rd, 1969, and he's from Chicago, Illinois. You know a little something about Chicago. You know a little something about Lake Forest High School in Lake Forest, Illinois?
Yeah, that's in Candyland. That's up north of me. We used to actually play some. We practiced. I had one of my great tennis matches against a guy from Lake Forest.
Okay,
I did.
All right.
Yeah.
The man I'm talking about is Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka is the Los Angeles Lakers general manager. Sitting there watching the Royal Rumble on Saturday night, and my phone starts going crazy. What is happening? And then I see a tweet from Shams. And it says the Los Angeles Lakers and Dallas Mavericks are doing business, or business as we like to say, and Luka Doncic is headed to L.A., and Anthony Davis and other stuff is headed to the Dallas Mavericks. And I said, this is not real. It's not real, right? Because this is not supposed to happen, you trading away a guy like Luka Doncic. But the reason why Rob Pelinka is partying like a raw star are because it just, based off of the reports that are out there, this fell into his lap. This fell right into his lap. The general manager for the Dallas Mavericks.
He told you they called him?
They called him. That's it. That's crazy to me that if you're on board with trading Luka, you get everybody involved. You get all the suitors in the world involved. So if you're Rob Pelinka, you're partying like a raw star because what just fell into your lap is a top 5 player in the league that's 25, 26 years old and gives you so much runway to build out hopefully another championship contender. It's nuts. I feel for AD because he and LeBron are very close. But my goodness, if you're Rob Pelinka, you can't pass up on Luka Doncic. So as a GM, this is what you dream of. And because of that, you're partying like a raw star. I still can't really wrap my mind around it.
It's very Laker-esque to have this happen.
It's just like,
right?
how?
That's the deal. And,
I don't know.
And so, although I don't think they're going to win a title together, I think this will be Luka's team moving forward after LeBron. I'm not that LeBron's done, but they got a lot of work to do to get that thing to where they feel they could.
They've been a good
cash
team
in together.
They've been a good team this year. You're right. There's not obviously not a lot left with LeBron, but you know how the game works. You go into a series with a guy that's
right.
top 5 in the league, and you're gonna have a shot. And LeBron's no slouch. Austin Reeves is still a guy that's really good. So they got to find a big man to replace Anthony Davis. On Dallas' side of things, they're gonna be a good team as well. But Luka is a prized possession around the NBA.
Luka's daddy isn't too happy about this.
He said he deserves better. The whole thing was just odd, AR. And you watch Jason Kidd's presser before they played the Cavs yesterday, and he's like, I found out at the 11th hour. Like, this just seemed very secretive.
Something went sour with Luka.
And reports are saying, too, that Luka didn't ask for a trade. So this isn't like Luka wanted out. It just seems like the GM, for whatever reason, made up in his mind that this was the right time to trade away one of the biggest superstars in the game. It's crazy.
Clearly, he didn't think he could count on him based on the money they'd have to pay him. I don't know. I agree with you. Very odd. All right, what's to love about college basketball? We know it's upsets. I'm going to give it to the boys from Manhattan, the Kansas, that is. Kansas State went into Ames and beat number 3 Iowa State, and not only beat them by 19 in front of a sellout crowd. It was the first time ever, hear me correctly, first time ever that a team with a losing record went on the road to beat a top 5 team by more than 15 points. So it's the largest road win Kansas State has ever had against a top 5 team. And here's the great dynamic. You want to talk about rolling a ball out and getting a victory, like Iowa State figure just roll the balls out. Kansas State was on a 15-game road losing streak that dated back to last season, and Iowa State was on a 29-game home winning streak. Cyclones, by the way, were favored by 16.5. They lost by 19. Woo. Give it to the boys from Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah.
The Purple Cats.
Second candidate for me. As you know, AR, I am an honorary member of the bloodline. I acknowledge my tribal chief, in Roman Reigns. So I got to shout out one of my cousins. I got to shout out the 2025 Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso. Let me get a yeet. Jey Uso getting it done. I'm watching the Royal Rumble. You know, John Cena's back. This is his farewell tour. It comes down to the final 2. It's Jey Uso, and it's Mr. You Can't See Me, John Cena. And I'm thinking they're going to give it to John Cena. They probably want him to win his 17th World Heavyweight Championship. No. Jey Uso goes over. It's been a grind for him. Going back to the pandemic where they were doing the show at the Performance Center, he was working his way back, got in tremendous shape. In the last few years, he has become one of the biggest stars in WWE. The best entrance in WWE belongs to Jey Uso, and now he is a Royal Rumble winner and has a chance to go on to WrestleMania main event one of those nights and hopefully become a world champion. So the Yeet Master himself, Jey Uso, partying like a Raw star.
All right, quick final one for me. This man was picked 25th overall 10 years ago in the NHL entry draft. David Pastrnak. All he needed was the calendar to flip to 25. He's back. He's one of the NHL's best scorers. 28-year-old winger lit the lamp 14 times. He has since January 1st. That's the most in the NHL in that time span. And Saturday at home, he had a hattie against the Rangers, 18th of his career. So he's back, and Boston's still in this thing. And, you know, I love to do the history. When Pastrnak was picked 25th overall in the 2014 draft, the Jackets were picking 9 picks earlier. They took Sonny Milano. David Pastrnak went 9 picks later.
How's that feel?
Pasta partying like a Raw star again.
Last candidate for me. I'm going with a woman that was born on September 4th, 1981 in H-Town in Houston, Texas, baby. And I'm talking about the Queen. I'm talking about Queen B. Beehive, stand up. You know how good Beyonce is? She's amazing at what she does. She's arguably the best female artist of all time. But she said, you know what, AR? I want to add more to my resume. I want to challenge myself. And what did she do last year? She came out with a country music album labeled Cowboy Carter. Yesterday at the Grammys, we found out that that album for her won Album of the Year. So Beyonce, I see you. I've been seeing you for a long time.
Especially in his dreams as well.
I've been seeing you for a long time. Queen B, I see you. Congrats. Album of the Year. You're partying like a Raw star.
All right, that's party for today. All right, if you are a guy out there and you're not ready to party, something's going wrong, you've lacked motivation and drive, and you've lost some muscle mass, you know, don't lie to yourself anymore. It could be signs of low testosterone. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Don't wait, find out. Low T Center's the place. You've heard of a lot of other places. Low T Center is going to make it very easy. You'll make your appointment online at lowtcenter.com. Book that. Go in, take the simple blood test. The on-site lab will tell you right then and there whether you're a candidate for testosterone replacement therapy or TRT. And they have experts there with more than a decade of experience helping guys. Super important. They're going to personalize the treatment plan. They'll optimize it for you, not just a basic standard treatment. If you're a current patient of Low T Center, they'll offer you a $150 referral credit for every new patient that you refer. And at Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss meds. So here's the bottom line. Get back to feeling your best. Go to lowtcenter.com. Book your appointment today. lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. We come back in 2 minutes with our friend Dan Hope from 11 Warriors, Who will call the plays for the Scarlet and Gray? Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We've all got it, you know, that one crazy thing you've always wanted to do, that bucket list goal. Then a cancer diagnosis, and that one thing still goes according to plan. I would know I'm getting my first tattoo right now, while my 3 beautiful daughters laugh hysterically at me. 58 years old, 4 years of cancer-free checkups at Ohio Health. Go ahead and get a picture, girls. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth, and you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way, you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
The Ohio State University Army ROTC. Buckeyes lead the way.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Their live golf team name is Ice Dogs. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it. As I said earlier, this is the price you pay for success. And Ryan Day now is tasked with finding the right guys to not only go after a repeat, but to shepherd a young quarterback as well. Our friend Dan Hope, who's the deputy editor and lead Ohio State football beat writer for 11 Warriors, jumps on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fangast hotline. Dan, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Who will he trust? Ryan Day here. We've talked about whether it's in-house or out-of-house. Let's deal with the obvious. Is he ready to go back to Brian Hartline in a year of where expectations won't be lowered, but maybe he's got a little more patience with the fan base coming off a title?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, this is all still unfolding. Just, Chip Kelly just leaving yesterday. So, we'll have to see how it all unfolds. But it certainly sounds as though, Brian Hartline's someone who's getting consideration for this job. And, I think the whole question, really comes down to, okay, Ryan Day made that decision to promote Brian Hartline 2 years ago, was originally going to delegate the play calling duties to him, and then backtracked on it. So does he feel with 2 more years of experience that Brian Hartline would now be ready to call the shots for the offense? I think that's what it comes down to here, because obviously, Ryan Day's got a lot on his plate. He's tried to be more of that CEO. No matter who they hire, he's going to continue to have a hand in the offense, just as he did this past season. But I do think it's important, like you said, that word trust, that he trusts whoever this offensive coordinator is to be able to run the offense to his liking, to be able to call the shots in game planning during the week, all of that. And so I think if Brian Hartline is ready, if Ryan Day believes Brian Hartline is ready, it would certainly make sense, because this is a guy that you want to keep at all costs. He's the best wide receiver coach in the country. He's interviewed for a couple jobs here over the past couple of years. At some point, you're either going to have to promote him or he's going to go somewhere to advance his career. That's just the way it works in the business. And so I think there certainly would be logic in the move. The whole question comes down to, is he ready with a couple more years of experience to be the guy that's truly calling the shots for the offense?
All right, Dan. So if it's not Brian, who are some names maybe outside of the building that you would think could be in the mix as candidates go for Coach Day?
For me, the first guy that came to mind was Kevin Wilson, because Kevin Wilson, of course, was the offensive coordinator a few years ago before he became the head coach at Tulsa, worked together with Ryan Day for 6 years previously at Ohio State. You look back at those 6 years, Ohio State was in the top 11 in total offense and scoring offense all 6 of those seasons. So there's already a track record of that partnership working really well together. He doesn't have a new job yet after losing his job at Tulsa. He's been around the program because of his son playing for the team, so he continued to have those close relationships and familiarity for programs. So, he's the first name that comes to mind for me. I think, a few other names that, again, I do not know if Ohio State is interested in these guys, if they're interested in Ohio State, but just names that came to mind for me. Jason Candle's a guy whose name was, tied to the opening a year ago at Toledo. Again, would he want to make that jump from head coach to offensive coordinator? I don't know, but he's someone who's a highly respected offensive mind, has that head coaching experience that Ryan Day looked for last year when he hired both Bill O'Brien and Chip Kelly. Joe Moorhead from Akron would be another guy that I think would fit that bill. Obviously has experience at both Oregon and Penn State, where he was considered one of the best offensive coordinators in the country. So I think he'd check a lot of boxes. And then another name that would be intriguing to me would be Jeff Nixon, the Syracuse offensive coordinator. Obviously, we saw what he did this past year with Kyle McCord there at Syracuse. And he's a guy that also has a lot of NFL experience and actually worked alongside both Ryan Day and Chip Kelly in the NFL. And so those are just a few names that come to mind for me as guys who would be logical fits.
So the other part of it is, I'm not saying you just do it to weaken a rival, but they could go within the conference and see, most people would pick up the phone if Ohio State calls. Is there anybody kind of within the Big Ten, whether it's Oregon or Penn State or somebody that they might say, hey, he may be the right guy and we can weaken a rival?
Yeah, I think, those two schools you just mentioned both have guys who would be worth making a call to, those being Will Stein at Oregon and Andy Kotelnicki at Penn State. Oregon and Will Stein's first couple of years as offensive coordinator has had one of the most explosive offenses in the country. Obviously, you look back at this past season, Will Stein was the only guy in the first game Oregon played against Ohio State who was able to find a way to pick apart the Ohio State defense that finished the year ranked number 1 in the country. So I think if you could entice him to come to Ohio State, that would be a great hire. And then, obviously, if you wanted to get one back on Penn State, I think Andy Kotelnicki at Penn State could be a guy as well. Very creative offensive mind, did a lot of really good things there in his first year at Penn State. So I think both of those guys would be worth making a call to and engaging their interest.
Dan, I want to look at the quarterback situation with you and ask you specifically about Julian Sayin. And this isn't to discredit any of the other guys that are in that room that are going to compete with the job, but there seemed to be a decent amount of momentum behind Julian Sayin and positivity spoken about him last year. And so now looking ahead to this offseason and the spring ball and all that, what do you know about Julian's game? For the folks that didn't watch him at the high school level, but just look at the recruiting rankings and all those things and see how much those people respected him coming out of high school. What did you learn about Julian last year, some of the practices you were at, and what we may see going into 2025?
The passing potential that he has is obvious. I mean, you can see, his ability to throw the ball very accurately down the field, very quick release. Somebody who I think the tools are there for him to become an elite passer at the collegiate level. Now, the question is, he hasn't done it in actual collegiate gameplay yet, really. I mean, he's played in a few games in the fourth quarter when the game was already decided, but that's a big difference from actually running the offense with the first team with the game on the line. And so, there's still, I think, plenty that needs to be accomplished this spring and summer for Julian to prove that he's ready to be Ohio State's quarterback and, prove that he's ready to run the whole offense. I think, continuing to add size is going to be an important thing as well, because he's someone who, didn't come in with, the typical build of a Big Ten quarterback. So I think that's going to continue to be a point of emphasis for him as well. But, I think that the passing tools are certainly there. And I mean, it wouldn't be the first time you saw a quarterback come in their second year without a lot of experience and tear it up at Ohio State. We saw C.J. Stroud do that a few years ago. So I think, all the tools are there for him to be a very good quarterback, but I also think that he still has to go out and win the job this offseason. I don't know that it's the 100% lock that he's going to be the starter that maybe people think it is. I think that he still has to go out this offseason and prove that he's ready to be Ohio State's quarterback.
Dan, give me a quick take on Justin Frye. I mean, this is clearly the perfect chance for him to move on after the title. He rescued the offensive line, but most Buckeye fans now they can kind of say goodbye and give him some congratulations and maybe think that they could actually level up as far as recruiting on the offensive line. What's the impact of his departure?
Yeah, I mean, I think for him it's a logical move because, obviously recruiting was not his strength, and now that's not something he's going to have to worry about. He can just focus on development, which is his strength, and so I think it's a logical move for him. To your point, I think there is an opportunity to potentially, level up the recruiting. Now, that doesn't mean that Frye's not tough to replace because you look at the job he did this past season, losing, multiple All-American level players and still putting together an offensive line that led Ohio State to a national championship. So I don't think Ohio State wanted to lose Justin Frye. However, I think, it's not something that caught Ryan Day off guard necessarily because I think he knew that, this was an opportunity that Justin Frye was interested in. And so, I think certainly, there again, you're going to be looking for a guy who, has that right combination of, ideally that track record of recruiting at a high level, but also is going to be a good developer because that's truly the number one thing for an offensive line coach is you got to be able to, take players out of high school and develop them over 2 or 3 years to become, Big Ten caliber offensive linemen.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Thanks for keeping score for us on all this stuff. We'll talk to you again soon, Dan. Take care.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys. Dan
Hope, 11 Warriors on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Just a different time. They were all in this year, all in. They all had a singular focus and got it all done. And now it's time to take advantage of that success. Yep. But if you're keeping score at home, Knowles to Penn State, Kelly to the Raiders, Frye to the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. And the shakeup continues. We'll come back. We'll tell the truth. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Only one football game left this season makes me sad. But watching that last game at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus makes me very happy. Scotty Vegas, and we're throwing a super watch party for the big game February 9th. Reserve your table at HollywoodColumbus.com. Come early for a live sports betting show at 5. Stay for the game with prizes and prop contests. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 years or older to enter. See you at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook for a Super Sunday.
Get ready for the big game with fan favorites like buy one, get one free extra large avocados. Plus, buy 5, save $5 deals when you mix or match other go-to items like assorted varieties of DiGiorno frozen pizza, 24 packs of Coca-Cola or Pepsi products plus deposit where applicable, and Sweet Baby Ray's marinade or sauce. Shopping at Meijer makes game day a good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Hey friends, Beamer here, and yes, I have a new update for you. I know you're thinking one of these weeks I'll put up a goose egg, but not yet, not with Awaken 180. Another 4.8 pounds down last week with Awaken 180, and if you're following along, it's sure fun for me. 42 pounds in just 8 weeks. Let's put weight aside. I've stopped snoring thanks to Awaken 180, and what does that mean? Happy wife, happy life. Plus, bonus, I wake up feeling great because I'm actually sleeping through the night. Energy levels high, less pain in my knees, and now I'm able to play at the little gym with Willie and throw him up and down and watch him be a crazy man. I know most of these messages talk about how much weight I'm losing, but it's more about what losing weight is making me win in every other area of my life. For the big game this weekend, I'm pumped. Wings, meatballs, adult beverages, everything's still on the table while losing weight with Awaken 180. Let them show you how easy it is and give Awaken 180 a call. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Let Diamond Sellers Blue Box be a part of your forever. Join us February 21st and 22nd for Wedding Weekend and save big on wedding and anniversary bands. Plus, enjoy special no-interest financing on engagement rings. Visit Diamond Seller on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to the fan. Very good. Now set a second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to the Fan's HD3 and save the Fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
Regenerative treatments for joint pain are creating lots of excitement in the orthopedic community. QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Ray Tessner recalls a recent conversation with one of the country's most acclaimed orthopedic doctors.
He said, when you and I are young, the arthroscope was a quantum leap in treating orthopedic problems. I think regenerative medicine is the new arthroscope.
Surgery is no longer the go-to solution for chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back. QC Kinetics is leading the next quantum leap. All-natural regenerative treatments that provide relief and mobility.
I think one of the tenets of being a good physician is the old saying of do no harm. That's what I enjoy about this form of treatment is there's very little chance that we're going to cause harm, and that's refreshing to me to be able to eliminate the dangers that can come sometimes with surgeries.
Book your free consultation today in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. Or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
All right, CB, what you got?
All right, so let's address that Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis trade that happened over the weekend and put it into NFL terms. I see a lot of people on social media doing this, and I wanted to tell the truth from your angle. If you had to make a comparable trade in the NFL to that trade in the NBA this weekend, what would it be?
I can tell you the one that Schefter put out that everyone was ripping.
What did he say?
He was saying, CB, that it would be like trading Lamar for Burrow.
Lamar plus, or Lamar and some
Burrow
assets plus.
For Burrow plus. And it's not that based on where Anthony Davis is in his career.
Mm-hmm.
This is absolutely. So the analogy you'd have to make is take a superstar who hasn't won it all yet. So Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Burrow, one of those guys. That's the first part of it. That's the Luka part for me. And then you'd have to trade him for
this would be
an aging superstar that still has a few good years left.
Yeah.
So this is, to me...
Is it Goff?
I think it's Stafford.
Okay.
I think Goff's got a much bigger runway than Anthony Davis has. Maybe you could steer me off of that.
No.
Jared Goff is only
30?
30.
Yeah, Stafford, I think, is probably a better.
Stafford probably has two. Well, how many years does AD have left of really high-end ball?
Probably at least 5 to 6.
Okay, so then maybe Stafford's not the right call. Maybe it is Goff. But I also think people think almost now, the way Goff laid an egg in that game against Washington, it's almost like Anthony Davis is a little better than even Goff.
Goff's been really good, though.
He has been.
He's been really good at Detroit.
It feels to me like this is probably a Josh Allen, or is it Lamar?
I think you could pick any of the three. Josh, or Lamar. Any of those three would work.
And now we need another player that's about 3 to 5 years away from being not the guy, but still very, very well thought of that you can win with today. and I would think that would be Stafford.
Or Goff, yeah. Wow. And
that's the one.
And it's also like, my gosh, if Luka Doncic is you can trade Luka Doncic, everybody's in play in the NBA to a certain degree.
What Sam Amico tweeted about it?
No, but I saw that Luka apparently bought a $15 million mansion last week
in Dallas. Well, it sounds like he could just afford to keep it and visit it if he wants. The Mavericks cooled on Luka because he wanted to pull like a Tom Brady and hire his own team of training experts, and technically they were just over him, that he was becoming like the individual diva guy. I mean, they all seem to get to that point. I mean,
he can be a diva all he wants with how good he is, and specifically how good he is in the playoffs. Like, the dude is for real. You're talking 39-9 type of production, and at his age, he's been all NBA every year, I think, but 1 year. And just went to the finals last year. The year before that, made a deep playoff run. Like,
most first-team All-NBA.
He's an aircraft carrier. He is.
And it seems weird to me that if the big knock on him is that he's not in shape and he doesn't play defense, if he's going to hire his own team of training experts at his own expense, unless he wanted to put it on them, but you think they'd be more than willing to say, wow, he's actually committed now to something we've been killing him for. Something doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. And that's why I hope we get a big piece that comes out from somebody that covers the team or one of these big heavy hitting reporters in the NBA to give us the details as to what the heck really happened. Because none of this is the math ain't mathin'. Mm-hmm. It's just not. It's just not at all for any of us right now when you see this. But the Laker fan base is jumping for joy because of this and what their future could look like with him. And you mentioned the conditioning aspect of it. You couldn't pair him with a better guy to learn from, specifically when it comes to that, with LeBron and how he's taking care of his body.
Part, and I'll ask you if this bothers you. This whole they can't play together because they both have to have the ball. And I mean, honestly, is that big?
No, it's not. It's not that big. And, I think when you look at specifically what Luka was able to do last year with a guy like Kyrie, who's a ball-dominant guy, and those guys went to the finals. It'll be fine. Those two, LeBron's one of the best passers of all time. Luka's going to be in that category as a ball handler when he gets done with his career. That's the least bit of my worries.
All right, last question for you.
Yeah.
Are you more surprised that their odds didn't get a lot better for winning the title?
The Lakers
with this trade.
Did I see 16?
They went
1?
from like 16 to 14, I thought.
Okay. I think that's also credit to the other teams in the West that are really good. So, no, it didn't surprise me.
They're 12 to 1 on Bet365.
But if you're Oklahoma City or if you're Houston or you're Memphis, you don't want to see 77-23 in a playoff series. You don't. Not these young teams, AR, that are ascending right now. Because beating LeBron and Luka 4 times in a series, that's going to be a grind.
He's going to be out to prove, too.
Oh,
a lot.
You can't handle the truth.
I don't know if you saw the video, which was wild to see the Phoenix Suns bench with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal apparently like on their phone reacting to it in real time. I didn't know you could have your phone on the bench, but just their facial expressions told you everything.
I'll tell you this. I went to a Lakers game a few years ago, and LeBron wasn't playing. My luck, right, when I go to that game?
Load management.
But he was on his phone so much during the game. Commercial breaks, just checking his phone, walking. So those guys get away. But I did see that, and Katie was blown away. I mean, everybody's still in shock, CB, because it's unprecedented territory to see a guy of Luka Doncic's caliber traded, especially to the market he got traded to. Pretty wild.
All right, one more here. Today's fan poll. The question is this: which new Ohio State assistant coaching hire is the most important for Ryan Day to get right? Is it the offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator?
I'm going DCAR.
Okay.
Just because I think of the stability that was built over the last 3 years, going back to 2022 when Jim Knowles got here. The most important unit is that offensive line unit. And so I'm not shortchanging that at all. But with the chemistry that Day has with Hartline and some other guys, I think the offense will be fine. I think it's Jim Knowles for me. And replacing him is a big deal.
I think you nailed it. I think a lot of people would think it would be Chip Kelly based on how great the offense is, and then breaking in a new quarterback, you'd want an experienced guy there calling the plays. But you have Ryan Day, and he's certainly going to find that right guy to make that connection, and he may even be more involved. I'm with you. I think there's a chance that the defense could take a step back based on losing Knowles and what you built from the time he got here to the time he left. That, yeah, I mean, I'm not discounting Kelly. He was a great play caller, but isn't he running Ryan Day's offense as well? So, and last I checked, he's still here. So I think it's a toss-up, but I'm going to err on the side of Knowles to answer the question.
They're all important, to your point. All three of them did a heck of a job this year, especially Justin Frye with what he was able to do. And we talked about it coming out of that natty a couple weeks ago. Like, Justin Frye and what he did needs to be talked about, because losing the talent that he lost in the middle of a season and having to adjust on the fly and getting guys ready to play, and also credit to those players, too, especially a guy like Donovan Jackson for sliding out the left tackle and putting out some good tape. It was tremendous stuff from your two coordinators and your offensive line coach that really got things humming. It all came together well, and that's why they were the last team standing.
All right.
Did you say I know my truth?
I know my truth.
And the truth shall set you free.
Hey, just a quick reminder. If you ever miss anything from our show, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. We're hopping on a bird, baby. We're going to NOLA.
Yes, we will be in NOLA at Radio Row. It'll be a lot of fun. You'll be able to watch. You'll be able to listen. We'll try to wrangle in a hodgepodge of guests to keep you entertained throughout the week. Keep track of who's picking whom to win the Super Bowl and all that. Should be an unbelievable time. So we will talk to you from down in New Orleans. Have a great rest of your day. Common Man and T-Bone will take you through it. As always, keep it locked here on The Fan. We are Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Saquon Barkley is plus 240 to win Super Bowl MVP, second in the odds behind Patrick Mahomes at plus 105. Barkley's the first non-quarterback to be in the top 2 in the Super Bowl MVP odds over the last 20 years. Jalen Hurts, he's plus 360. Travis Kelce, 18-1. And A.J. Brown is 25-1 to be Super Bowl MVP. For your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and there's no limit. Plus, no interest financing for 3 years. That's 36 months, people. And if you already have a price from another company, Universal Windows Direct will beat it. So you know you're getting the best deal around.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Breaking news. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus. And I'm Wilson from that other window place. At Pella, we use the newest technology to show you exactly how new windows would look on your home. Well, we keep it simple at our window place. We use a number 2 pencil to draw what your house will look like with our new windows. See? Oh yeah, that definitely looks like a number 2. Thank you, Leslie. Wait, I see what you did there. Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
How'd you like to wipe out all that credit card debt to start the new year off right? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Stop getting fleeced by the credit card companies. If you own your home, go Go to AFLcash.com now. Advantage First Lending can help you unlock that equity and get you tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's AFLcash.com. You can pay off all your credit cards and other high-interest debt super fast. Consolidate all your bills into one low monthly payment. AFLcash.com can help you tap into your home's equity to give you some serious cash so you can go into 2025 with less stress and more confidence. Get the cash you need from Advantage First Lending now. Most homeowners don't even need an appraisal. How great is that? Get on solid financial footing. Go to AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. 844-394-CASH.
Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the